Hello everybody, it's Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, and thanks for watching us here on YouTube. If you're looking for more Royal Caribbean news, information, fun, advice, really everything that you need to have a great, wonderful Royal Caribbean cruise, well then you want to check out RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. And today's video is about picking the right cruise itinerary for you. Actually, the title of this is wrong. I just realized I have the wrong title in here. I'm going to change that right now. But I think we got that going there. But guys, thanks for watching us here on YouTube. Now, of course, we're talking about the choosing a cruise itinerary. And what that means is, well, you're looking to take a cruise. Maybe you're a first-time cruiser, or maybe you've been there, done that, but you're looking for something a little different. Picking the right cruise itinerary. It's a really common question a lot of first-timers have. Is, Matt, I want to go on a cruise. I want to try a cruise, but I don't know which one to go on. And the answer is, you know what? There is no right answer for everybody. Picking the right itinerary really depends on a couple factors. And today we're going to talk about some of those factors right here to help everybody get a better idea of what the right cruise itinerary is. So here's some things to consider. Let's talk about, first and foremost, length. How long of a cruise should you go on? There is, of course, two components of this. How long of a cruise should you go on, and how long of a cruise can you actually afford to go on, right? In terms of not only like how much the cruise costs, but of course, you know, how many days off of vacation and all those kind of considerations, right? But the length of a cruise is a really good place to start because there are so many different cruises out there across many different lengths. You've got the short weekend cruises that go maybe into 3 or 4 nights. You've got the 7-night cruises, which are extremely popular because they fit very nicely into a week of vacation. You've got the 10, 14 nights. You got the 20-something plus night cruises that will take you halfway across the world. I mean, there's really a lot of it to consider, and they'll take you to all different places, and you're choosing the length of your cruise will, in some cases, dictate which places in the world you can or can't go to. As an example, if you want to do a 21-night cruise, that's awesome, but you're probably not going to the Bahamas. Whether or not it's a problem or not is a different story, but the point is that short cruises tend to take you to certain places, longer cruises may take you to more places. It's really finding a balance, and of course, what you can do. And I'll tell you that there are times in which I say, oh, I really want to take a 7-night cruise. A lot of times Americans really like that 7-night cruise length because we like to take, maybe a week off at a time. It's a great amount of time to take, for vacation. Whereas I know a lot of our British friends and our Australian friends tend to go for much longer vacations, holidays, as they say. And as a result, they're looking for longer sailing. So it's really a matter of first looking at the length and having an idea of how long you're willing to go and then going from there. Now, of course, you're asking, Matt, I'm a first-time cruiser. What is a good length for my first cruise? I always recommend people actually a little bit longer cruises, 5 to 7 nights. You might say, well, I'm a first-timer. Shouldn't like a 3 or 4-nighter be where I start? And that might make sense to you, except for one fact, which is that 3 and 4-night cruises are so short that you barely have any time to really understand what cruising is all about. If you go on a slightly longer cruise, that 5 to 7-night cruise, that gives you a good balance of sea days and port days. And as a result, it also gives you an opportunity to experience both and get a really good sense of what cruising is all about. Now let's start about Embarkation Point. Where does your cruise begin and probably leave from or come back to, right? Where your cruise sails to is in a lot of cases a major component to picking the right cruise itinerary for you. Now, sometimes you may be lucky and live in an area in which you have a lot of cruises available to you that come out of your area. Great example of this, if you live in the state of Florida, boy, are you in cruising's backyard. But if you live in California, or you live in Canada, or you live in Idaho, not that many cruises that go, out of your backyard that you can certainly drive to. But you have to, keep in mind that when you're picking the right cruise for you, it may come down to a question of, okay, how are you going to get to the cruise? And picking that may, help maybe narrow down those choices as well. There's a lot of cruises out of, places like Florida, New York. You've got cruises out of Barcelona. These are really common places to find cruises. But there's also some other places Royal Caribbean sails from. You've got Galveston, Texas, Baltimore, Maryland, San Juan, Puerto Rico, and many more. And these are great places to take cruises from. And maybe that helps you also get a little bit closer, bringing the total cost of your vacation down by not having to pay for all those transportation costs. And lastly, well, not even lastly, but the next point of my bigger part, of course, is how do you want a vacation? What are you looking for? Are you looking for laying by the beach and kind of taking it easy? Are you looking for a vacation, a cruise vacation that is going to take you to some historical spots and cultural areas and just, boom, 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 boom? What kind of a vacation style do you want? If you're looking to relax more so than anything else, well, a Caribbean vacation is great for that. But if you want to see the world more than by a beach, perhaps a European cruise. Perhaps you're looking to get in touch with nature. Alaska, the last frontier, great spot for you. Again, picking the right itinerary for your cruise may also come down to what you're looking to do on your cruise vacation. So, a lot of good choices there. All right, so let's talk about some good tips here as we look to choosing the right itinerary. In terms of ships, people always ask me, Matt, I want to go on a Royal Caribbean cruise. What's a great first Royal Caribbean cruise? I'll tell you, for first-time cruisers, I recommend the Oasis class and the Quantum class primarily. The reason being is they offer the latest and greatest that Royal Caribbean has. We're talking about Allure of the Seas, Oasis of the Seas, Harmony of the Seas, Symphony of the Seas, Ovation of the Seas, Anthem of the Seas, and Quantum of the Seas. Because these are the newest ships, these are the ships that just offer the very latest that Royal Caribbean has. And for those reasons, it really makes it's a really good choice. Not to mention, they tend to do slightly longer sailings. We're talking that close to that 7-night time frame that I mentioned earlier in this episode. So that's definitely a big one. Now, in terms of, where to go on your cruise and, the itinerary we're talking about, I think a lot of people, when they're watching this video, probably looking towards the Caribbean. The Caribbean is cruising's backyard. If they had a backyard, it would be the Caribbean. It is where cruising has really flourished. It has made a big name for itself over there. Heck, it's in Royal Caribbean's name, so it's kind of a big thing for Royal Caribbean. And, whether you're talking about Eastern Caribbean, Western Caribbean, Southern Caribbean, they're all great choices. You really can't make a mistake there. They usually go out of Florida. In fact, some cruises even go out of other ports as well. But the Caribbean is just so perfect for cruising because it allows you to go to different islands in many cases. Each day get a little taste of what they have to offer. And it's a great way to see the Caribbean, explore the Caribbean, and really enjoy that. Now, of course, there are other great itineraries as well. But, the Caribbean itineraries are really a nice choice. Jay, thank you for the super chat already. I just think for first-time cruisers, you really can't go wrong with that. But there are a lot more places that Royal Caribbean sails to. You've got Alaska. You've got, the Mediterranean. You've got Northern Europe. You have Australia. You have Panama Canal crossings. I would say the only sailings I would not recommend for a first-time cruiser would be repositioning cruises. Trans-Pacific, transatlantics, cruises in which the cruise starts in one port and ends in another port. I just think that it's a much different cruising experience. And it's a great option you should try at some point, but not for your first cruise. For your first cruise, going to the Caribbean, going to the Bahamas, maybe enjoying the Mediterranean, it's a really great way to see the world and get your feet wet, so to speak, when it comes to the Caribbean. Also, Bermuda. I forgot about Bermuda. Bermuda is a great choice, especially if you're on the East Coast of the United States. In the summertime, you have cruises over there. Royal Caribbean also offers cruises in the summer and the fall to Canada and New England. Beautiful areas to go. I know some people get hung up on the idea of going somewhere that's colder than where I am right now. Why would I want to do that? Well, for one thing, you won't be sweating as much. For another thing, you get a lot of great culture up in New England, Canada, beautiful, in touch with nature. Again, it's what you're looking to do. Are you looking for beaches? Are you looking for a little more, city life? Are you looking for more of that natural beauty? Well, again, Canada, New England, really, really great choices there. So there you go. That's a really basic starting point of picking a great cruise itinerary for you as a first-time cruiser. There's tons of choices. And here's the secret. I'm going to share the secret with first-time cruisers. Nobody told me when I was going on a cruise for the first time. You know what that secret is? That you can go on plenty of cruises more. Don't have to worry about getting it perfect, exactly the best cruise off the bat, because there's so many great other choices out there. I've been cruising for years and years and years, and you know what? I still haven't even come close to doing it all, and that's a good thing. That means there's always something else to do. So, now of course, we're recording this video live on YouTube, so I'm going to go over to our YouTube chat right now and throw it over to these guys and see what they have to say about cruise itineraries, answer their cruising questions, and we're live every Friday on our YouTube channel, so come join us on youtube.com/Royal Caribbean blog. Alex Downs is here. We've got Allison Adams from Down Under. Crikey, welcome. We got Midge in the house. Nancy Day's going on Serenade of the Seas, February 2020. Nice. Shmail's back. Shmail's going on Oasis in 2 days, and Symphony March 2020. Will says, do you have any update on the status of the Perfect Day Coco? Looking to go in November, looking to see the transformation. So earlier this week, Royal Caribbean made an announcement that they're actually pushing back the timeline a little bit. The pier will now be done in March. It was supposed to be done in January, but it's still everything else is still on the same dates. You've got the bulk of the stuff opening on Perfect Day Coco, the water park and whatnot in May, and then you got some of the last stuff in November. So, Will, when you go, theoretically, based on the current timeline, it should still hold up there. Jeremiah, any recommendations for Liberty of the Seas first-time cruise with Royal Caribbean? Jeremiah, you're going to have an awesome time on Liberty of the Seas. Fabulous ship, in fact. I will tell you that you got to try the tidal wave slide on Liberty. It's the only ship in the fleet that has a tidal wave slide. A tidal wave slide is basically a raft in which you go down the slide, go up a near vertical wall, and come back down. I'd also recommend, Jeremiah, on Liberty of the Seas, you can actually go down to the helipad on the front of the ship, on the bow. So when you're going for sail away, any port you're sailing away from, go over there. It's a great secret spot to enjoy sail away on there. Margie, want to leave out of Mobile, Alabama, but not just Carnival as a choice. Yeah, no, unfortunately, Margie, Royal Caribbean doesn't go out of Mobile. In fact, I think Carnival is the only cruise line that goes out of there, Margie. But the good news is it's not very far to get from Mobile down to maybe Tampa or Port Canaveral, Florida. You have those choices as well. Lorna is going on Symphony next Saturday, the 12th. Nice. Trevor has done Eastern and Western swings, looking to do Southern one sometime. So thank you, Trevor, for sharing that. My question for the chat is, if you have cruised before, if you're kind of been there, done that cruiser, I want to hear from you. What is your recommendation for a first-time cruiser? What itineraries would you recommend for a first-time cruiser? I want to hear about it in the chat so we can talk about that here. Thyre Carver, 295 days till Grandeur of the Seas. Chris W., I heard 3-day cruises tend to be more of a wild party cruises. Any truth to that? You know what, Chris? There's some truth to it. It kind of depends on the time of year. Certainly if you're going on a 3-night cruise, spring break, out of Miami, yeah, you're going to have a younger crowd. Generally speaking, Chris, the longer the sailing, the more mixed families or mixed ages you're going to get when it comes to who's going on that cruise. So what that means is, a 3-night cruise over a weekend, well, it doesn't require a whole lot of vacation time. Young people, it's also fairly inexpensive, so you get a lot more younger people on those type of cruises. On the other extreme, if you go on a repositioning cruise that's 14 or 21 nights, you're not going to get nearly as many young people. In fact, it's probably mostly going to be kind of older folks as well. So you get a mix of all of it. Not to say, Chris, that 3-night cruises are only going to be young people and party crowd. It's not the case. I've done 3-night cruises. It's not always that. It just depends, but it can be that way. Chad's going on Brilliance in 54 days. Nice. Gloria is going on Symphony of the Seas March 2019. Sue Watson going on Adventure in 99 days. Joseph Johnson from Michigan is here. Welcome. Joseph Kaiser wants to know, have I ever done an Australia to Hawaii cruise? I have not, Joseph. My parents just did that sailing. They did a repositioning cruise from Seattle, Washington, all the way down to Australia with a stop in Hawaii, and they loved it. Oh my gosh, really, really nice. They can't say enough nice things about that kind of a sailing. Sherry Krapodra is here, 50 days till Harmony of the Seas. We've got Denisa Nelson going on Navigator March 29th, 84 more days. Eric Clemens going on Rhapsody Transatlantic 112 days. Pierre just back from Oasis of the Seas. She was fabulous in a first cruise. And Pierre, you hit upon two things that I talked about earlier in this video about why it's a great choice for a first-time cruiser. An Oasis class ship, 7 nights, Caribbean sailing. I mean, that's 3 things actually. But Pierre, I'm so glad you had an awesome time on Oasis of the Seas. My question for you, Pierre, is a really important one. What do you have booked now? What's your next cruise? Jay says, as far as the Eastern Caribbean itineraries, which ports would you recommend? I was booked on the Oasis to go to St. Martin, but a hurricane came. That does stink, Jay. My favorite Eastern Caribbean ports, San Juan, Puerto Rico, St. Martin, St. Thomas. In fact, if I go to St. Thomas now, I tend to go to St. John's, which is right nearby. But those 3 ports, St. Martin, San Juan, St. Thomas, great choices in the Eastern Caribbean. I think you'll like that quite a bit. Let's see here. Jay, first-time cruisers should do a Royal Caribbean blog group cruise. Why, thank you, Jay, for the shameless plug. You're absolutely right. What Jay is talking about, these are Royal Caribbean cruises in which I invite all of you guys, everybody here, to come join me for it. We actually got a couple of group cruises coming up. We have the Mariner of the Seas group cruise. This is a 3 and a 4 night cruise, back to back. You can go from one or the other. It's our next one. It's on March 15th and 18th. You can still book this one. We have Anthem of the Seas coming up July 4th, 2019. And we actually have 2 other group cruises scheduled for 2020. And more information about any of our group cruises are waiting for you at royalcaribbeanblog.com/events. royalcaribbeanblog.com/events. And again, you guys are more than welcome. Please come join us for it. It's a lot of fun. Let's see here. Howard Penner says Western Caribbean is always awesome. It's hard to go wrong with Mexico, Howard. I agree on that one. T. Sin says, I would say Eastern Cruise will be best for first-timers. Pascal says, Alaska Inside Passage for the first time. Ooh, Pascal, you're going to love that. Thyri Carver, 7-day Eastern Caribbean or Bermuda as recommendations for first-timers. There you go. Sherry Capotra is a first-timer. Sherry, welcome. I'm so glad you are here because I'm hoping you're going to learn a lot of great tips here. Not only for myself, but the great chat we have here. Lots of helpful folks. Mrs. Liz, Adventure in November, first time with the Royal Caribbean, ABC Islands. Ooh, I did the ABC Islands a couple years ago. Mrs. Liz, and I'm going to tell you, it's an amazing itinerary. I think you're really, really going to like it. Trevor thinks Eastern is better. Seems ports are more developed and stuff is to do close to the port. I love the Eastern Caribbean. Like I said, San Juan, Puerto Rico, St. Martin, beautiful places. But again, if you want the reason why I still love Western Caribbean sailings, I got one word for you guys: tacos. Mexico, such great food in Mexico. They have amazing food there, more than just tacos, obviously. But there's margaritas, there's burritos, empanadas, guacamole, ceviche. Oh, now I'm hungry. I'm starving now. So good. Joseph Johnson loves Southern Caribbean. Been there 3 times. Southern Caribbean is a great choice. Yes. I got to, oh, there it is. Kelly Talafiero, do you need to make reservations for Solarium Bistro on Anthem? You don't have to, Kelly, but I do recommend in general if you can. Why not? You stand to benefit, Kelly. Makes your life easier kind of thing. Less waiting involved. Eric Clemens, first timer, 7-day Southern or Western Caribbean would be his picks. Eric, great choices as well. Can't go wrong with that. Daryl Hedges recommends booking a cruise with a bookend sea day. So what Daryl is saying is, regardless of where you go, what you want to have is a sea day for day 2, and then the last day should be a sea day as well. So that way you have a little bit of decompression time on both ends. And I agree. That's a really good recommendation, Daryl. Thank you. Beth McDonald just did our first cruise. We did an 11-day cruise. Anthem of the Seas, so much to do. Absolutely great choice. Howard Penner on Rhapsody in 15 more days. Sherry's going on Harmony February 25th with Sherry. You're going to have an awesome. I love Harmony. It is my favorite Royal Caribbean ship, so you picked well. Chad, what do you think about Anthem of the Seas for an Alaska cruise? Anthem doesn't go to Alaska, Chad. I think you're thinking about Ovation of the Seas, and I'm going on Ovation in 2020. So I think it's a great idea. Chad, hey, my first few Royal Caribbean cruises went from Voyager class to Freedom class to Oasis class. It was a great way to experience the evolution of the brand. That's a really good point. What Chad is talking about is the Voyager class came out first, then Freedom, then Voyager class, then Freedom class, then Oasis class. And so what Chad got to do was experience that lineage, the progression. And Chad, I agree 100%. Sarah Barker loved going on an Eastern Caribbean cruise. Thyri loves Jamaica. Carol says, we just came back from a 9-day Christmas cruise to Labadee, Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao on Navigator. Holy moly, that is amazing. Let's see here. I missed a question from... Oh, there it is. Jay, St. Martin, San Juan, St. Thomas, gotcha. I'm booked on a Lure in 274 heading to Charlotte-Amalie, St. Thomas. Hope to get San Juan and St. Martin next year. Charlotte-Amalie, St. Thomas is beautiful. Go to Megan's Bay. Great beach over there. John Bai's first cruise is going to be a 7-day in a balcony suite on Liberty for his honeymoon. I'm worried I'm ruining smaller ships, so I swung myself on the first one. No, John. Smaller ships, you know what? I started on big ships too. My first couple cruises were Explorer of the Seas, Oasis of the Seas, Mariner of the Seas. And then much later on, I started the Radiance class, the Brilliance and the Jewels and the Majesties. You know what, John? It's just different. Doesn't ruin it. It's just a different experience. And if you like one, you like them all. They very much lend themselves to it. Thyri says, tacos. See? Bearded servant hiking. I love these YouTube names. My first cruise is on Independence Day starting Monday, then March 9th, I start hiking the Appalachian Trail. Yeah, buddy. Pierre, not booked yet, but looking at December 2020 Harmony out of Port Canaveral. Nice. I think you'll like that. Tiffany, for the group cruises, the Mariner group cruise is going to Nassau, Bahamas, and Coco Cay. The Anthem group cruise on July 4th is going to Bermuda, San Juan, St. Martin, and Labadee. It's an amazing itinerary. You can find all the information on all of our group cruises at, again, royalcaribbeanblog.com/events. Danielle Nealon Williams going on adventure in 140 days. AR is going on Liberty in 2 more days. Trevor, anyone ever had an aft balcony on Liberty or any Freedom class ship? We booked one on Liberty March 2020. I have not stayed in one, Trevor, but I have visited people in those rooms. It's great. Huge balconies. I think you're going to like it quite a bit. I'd say the only bad thing, if you want to argue about it, is just the fact that there's a longer walk, obviously, to and from your room. But otherwise, the room itself is wonderful. Let's see here. Jason Lickert says, go for a value cruise on an amped Freedom class. So if you're new to Royal Caribbean, you might not understand what Jason just said there. What Jason's saying is that a great value, and I agree with Jason, but I already agree with the point. I'm going to explain why I agree with the point. But Royal Caribbean is in the process right now of upgrading some of its existing ships. What they're doing is they're taking some of these ships and adding a ton of new features on them. Like, as an example, the Freedom class, which is what Jason is referring to, is Independence of the Seas, Liberty of the Seas, and Freedom of the Seas. Now, Independence of the Seas just got her amplification, as Royal Caribbean calls it. And Freedom and Liberty will be getting theirs in a couple of years. But what they're adding to them, there's so many new opportunities, new activities, new venues on there. It really makes it almost feel like a brand new ship. But because it's a little bit older, you get some terrific value out of it. Tiffany, for the group cruise stuff, we have a couple of the 4 group cruises we have, Tiffany. They got a different port. So you'll have to go to, what I really do recommend you do is go to the website, royalcaribbeanblog.com/events, right there at the bottom of your screen. You'll find all the information about where they sail from, what the dates are, what ports they visit. It's all over there for you, and how you can also get a quote for them as well, so you can join us for it. Joseph Kaiser, for the first time going out of Miami in the new terminal. Joseph, they did an amazing job there. It's so easy to cruise out of there. You're going to love it. Gloria's favorite ship is Harmony as well. Good choice. Kelly going on Anthem of the Seas in 49 more days. Nice. Let's see here. Kelly says, can't wait to see if the drink on Coco Cay is the same as the Labadoozy. It is, Kelly, but it's good research. I applaud your dedication to science there. Let's see here. Nancy Day, we booked our first promenade inside room deck 8 on Liberty, Western Caribbean in 51 days. Too excited. Anyone stayed in a promenade inside view? I have, Nancy, and it's great. It's great value. These are rooms that, they're interior rooms, but what they do, they have a little bay window, and they look out to the Royal Promenade. It's great for people watching, Nancy. Very convenient location, in fact, as well. You can not only see people location, when there's a parade, you can see that, which is really nice. Just make sure you close your blinds, like when you're getting dressed. That's kind of my big tip for you on that one. Twinning around, we enjoyed all the activities on Allure, but there's something just comforting about the smaller ships. The employees really get to know you. We're on an 11-night Southern Caribbean in April 2020 on Serenade. Twinning around, I'm going on Brilliance of the Seas in February. And you know what? There is something kind of cool about those smaller ships. The Radiance class especially. You're going on Serenade, which is a Radiance class ship, and I agree 100%. Christine Wilson just took a 5-night cruise on Independence. Loved Dunn's River Falls in Jamaica. I haven't done Dunn's River yet. One of these days I'm going to get out there. Donna Adams, first time with the Royal Caribbean, 50 days until Oasis of the Seas. Donna, you picked an amazing ship to start out your Royal Caribbean cruising career with, Donna. Once you do Oasis class, Donna, there's just no going back to anything else. Especially not Royal Caribbean. Eric says, for first-timers, what's the one word or phrase you should use to describe Royal Caribbean experience? Exhilarating. I tend to agree. And wow. Wow, Eric, is what I usually use as well. Trevor says, prepare to have your mind blown, Donna Adams. Absolutely. Hello, Edwin Vargas. Welcome. Paul, how are rooms by the elevators? I prefer my staterooms by the elevators. Convenience. If you're worried about noise, doesn't happen. Don't worry about that. Really great. Pierre says, can you discuss the benefits versus risk of guaranteed stateroom or category? Saving substantial, but absolutely. So Pierre's talking about guaranteed rooms. These are rooms in which Royal Caribbean says, hey, look, we're going to give you a discount. You're going to pay less for the room, but we're going to guarantee you're going to get a certain category. Like, we're going to guarantee a balcony, or we're going to guarantee you a inside room. But the trade-off is, on the plus side, you're going to save money, Pierre. You're not going to pay as much as somebody who picks their room. On the downside, Royal Caribbean picks the room for you. Now, what's the real downside of that? Well, it depends really. I mean, what that means is they may pick your room for you, assign the location. So, maybe it doesn't have quite the view you want, or it's all the way at the end of the ship, things of that nature. If you're not picky about where your room is, I'm one of those people, then it really doesn't matter. If you're picky, my parents are a classic example, Pierre. My parents always want to stay in midship on a high deck. No matter they don't want to save money with any other option. They know where they want to be. But other people like myself are like, not the biggest deal in the world. We'll find somewhere to go. I don't really care necessarily where the room is. And so that's why a stateroom guarantee is a really good choice, because you're going to save a lot of money. Daniello, going on Independence Seas was awesome for first Royal Caribbean ship. I enjoyed every moment of it. Sarah Baker, what was your first cruise ship you've been on? The first cruise ship I ever went on was the Disney Wonder. My first Royal Caribbean cruise was on Explorer of the Seas. Howard Penner loves promenade rooms. There you go. Thyre loves the small ships as well. Lillian's going to Alaska on Ovation in May. Mickey Atkinson, any day pass suggest for Falmouth? I do. I suggest the Hilton Rose Hall. You like that quite a bit. AR is Liberty good. Liberty's a great ship. Cavell, taking my husband on a surprise 40th birthday cruise on Allure. I'm so excited he has no clue. Awesome. I hope he's not listening to this right now. But that is a great surprise. I wish someone surprised me with a free cruise. Kelly, is there a lunch buffet on Coco Cay? There is a complimentary lunch buffet on Coco Cay. Yes. Howard says, kiss your inheritance goodbye. I know, Howard, I know. Parents spend it all on cruises. Danielle says, what do you suggest for a first-time cruiser that has mobility issues? What I would recommend, Danielle, this is self-serving, but you know what? I have a good friend of mine who has experience with this. Her son is in a wheelchair, and she did a podcast with me that we did. An episode, I'm going to give you the link right now, Danielle. Episode, hang on, I got to get the number for you. Wi-Fi, first-time cruise tips. Episode 263. So what I'm going to do is put it in chat right now for you, Danielle, because I want you to listen to this episode. It is, oops, didn't mean to do that. That's the podcast logo, though. This episode was a good friend of mine, Laura. We talked about tips and strategies for someone who has a wheelchair accessibility on Royal Caribbean. It's going to give you so many more tips than I can possibly rattle off to you. It's a great resource. Listen to that episode right there. Kirk, any tips for cruises on Navigator? We do have it at RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. Our first time, not that. What am I talking about? Navigator of the Seas Secrets. Now, of course, Navigator is going under refurbishment right now, so it's going to change a little bit, but that's the link right there. Oh, Kirk. I'm sorry, Kirk. I didn't tag you in that. Where's my YouTube? There you go, Kirk. Check out that link. I don't know why it keeps on changing there. Chris, is the key worth it and what's included? We have a full review of the key at RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. I would say this. Who asked me that? Chris. If you're planning on getting the internet anyway, like you're going to buy the internet and you're not a Diamond member, you're not very high in Crown and Anchor Society, it's a great choice for you. Here's the link right there, Chris, to check out a review of the key. I think it can be worth it, just depending on you, obviously, to be in a certain situation, and also be like, are you interested in taking advantage of the things that are included in there? Flea219, just back today from first Royal Caribbean cruise, had a blast coming for my next one. Nice! Flea, which ship were you on? Chad says, must do first Royal Caribbean drink pina colada with Kraken rum floater. Yes, a great choice. Love that. Love that. Awesome, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us here. I do appreciate you spending part of your Friday hanging out with us, talking Royal Caribbean. If you're looking for more Royal Caribbean information, news, advice, everything to have a great, fantastic Royal Caribbean cruise, check out RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. I'll answer one more question from Vlog Channel, because the Vlog Channel is always in here. Will it cost a lot more if one person is going? Royal Caribbean will charge you something called a single supplement fee. What that means is you're more than likely you're going to pay double. You're going to pay, and you pay essentially for two people, even though you're only going for one person. That's the nature of the cruise industry. It's not just a Royal Caribbean thing. That's the whole cruise industry like there. It has to do with the fact that the cruise industry is based on double occupancy. So the only way around it is if you book a single, a solo room. There's certain rooms on ships, Vlog Channel, that are for solo cruisers. We have a list of them at RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. Here we go, vlog channel. I'm going to, oops. Check out that blog post right there. I keep on hitting the button that turns off my, changes my, hello? There we go. There we go, that's better. Changes my view over there. Sorry about that. All right, guys. Thanks again. We're here live every Friday. Forgot what day it was. On here. And, of course, check out RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com in the meantime for everything else Royal Caribbean related. Guys, have a great rest of your day. Enjoy. Do something fun. And we'll talk again very soon right here on YouTube. Bye, everybody. Oh, I didn't mean to come back, but here I am. Bye.